Let me tell you, the first thing I do when I walk into a company as a fractional CRO, I cancel every recurring meeting, every single one. The calendar looks like a battlefield, but within a week, people start breathing again. When you clear the clutter, you finally see what actually matters. Here's the truth. I didn't create the RAV Engine because I wanted another framework. I created it because I really had to. When you're managing multiple clients at the highest level, leading up to CEOs, across exec teams and down to sales teams, all at hyper speed, you can't afford inefficiency. I needed to build a system that made execution simple, fast, and visible. So I built one, and it's called the RAV Engine. 3 gears that power every high-performing team I've ever led. Rhythm, accountability, visibility. It's not about meetings. It's about how high performers run execution.
It's time for Rascal Wrap Up. Unfiltered truth, straight talk, no fluff.
Let's be honest. Most meetings are a cover-up for a lack of clarity. People think meetings create alignment. They don't. Discipline creates alignment. Rhythm sustains it. And according to Harvard Business Review, the average employee spends 31 hours a month in unproductive meetings. That's almost a full work week lost, not to effort, but to confusion. The problem isn't that people meet too much. It's that they meet for nothing. I've sat in rooms where executives debated for 90 minutes and walked out with 0 decisions. And you can bet I was not leading that meeting. I've seen leaders use meetings as therapy instead of leadership. And I've seen great people burn out because their calendars were full of other people's priorities. But I've also seen what happens when you run execution with precision. I run multiple companies at a time as a fractional CRO. If I didn't have discipline baked into how I communicate, align, and execute, it would all fall apart. The RAV Engine is the only reason I can move at this speed because it makes execution effortless. So this episode isn't about meetings. It's about the mechanics behind momentum. When your rhythm, accountability, and visibility gears lock in, your company will stop feeling chaotic and start feeling control. And that's what we're building today. So this episode is for all you fractional leaders out there, but also internal leaders, CEOs, entrepreneurs, anyone who is running a business. You need to listen in.
Welcome to Why This Works and Why It Doesn't. Real strategies, real results, no sugarcoating.
All right, let's break down how the RAV Engine works and when to use each gear. Step 1 is understand the 3 gears of this whole process. Think of RAV like an engine. Rhythm keeps the peace and structure. Accountability fuels truth and action. And visibility keeps everything connected and transparent. Most companies overheat because one of these gears is missing. The fix isn't more meetings, it's the right meetings at the right cadence with the right people. And here's how I use the RAV Engine across every business that I lead, whether it's a startup, a SaaS company, or an enterprise level organization. 1, this is your weekly rhythm. And this is all about structure and alignment. So this is who it's with. Who is the CEO and the CRO? You also can apply this to any leadership role and whoever you report up to. The purpose is to align top priorities, identify bottlenecks, and make decisions that move revenue. EOS, the Entrepreneur's Operating System, has something called a level 10. And this is actually inspired by that level 10, but I built it for something faster and sharper that I needed for a one-to-one meeting versus all of leadership. So my 30-minute rhythm meeting looks like this. 1, a pulse check for 3 minutes. How's the business feeling this week? 2, KPI flash, 5 minutes, top 3 metrics only. 3, strategic bottleneck, 10 minutes. What is slowing us down? 4, decision and ownership, 8 minutes. Who's doing what by when? And that could mean the CEO has tasks, you have the tasks as a CRO, or it's just really clear who is being delegated something. And number 5 is your learnings. Like, how did we learn, or how did we change? How did we adapt from the prior week to this week? And what do we need to do next week? The best is that there's no slides, no decks, just truth and forward motion. This is the heartbeat that keeps leadership focused. And for me, it was the key to communication with each CEO that I was working with so that I knew nothing would slip through the cracks. All right. Number 2 is all about accountability, candor, and speed. So who is this with? So for my CROs out there, it's your CRO and the direct reports. If you're a VP of sales listening, it's VP of sales and your direct reports. And when is this? It's every weekday. I like it first thing in the morning, before 10 a.m. Before 10 a.m., depending on how your company runs, if people have a few things they have to take care of each morning. So run it every weekday, 10 to 15 minutes. And the purpose of this is to build trust through honesty and surface any blockers before they spread. We don't want to waste a day. We don't want to waste a week. We don't want to waste a month. And this is honestly my favorite gear because it's where radical candor becomes a bit of a habit. So in our daily huddles, and it's going to look different for everyone listening. It depends who reports to you. I'll use the example of a sales team huddle for right now, but you can use this out of any team member. Okay. In our daily huddles, everyone answers 3 questions. What's working? What's not? And what do you need to do today? That's it. And your job as the leader is to listen and see if you can remove roadblocks for them. And it could be the simplest thing of listening to a sales call that somebody is just really struggling with the close or the follow-up or whatever it can be. But you have to be there ready to support your team if you're going to ask for it. And you have to be ready to give that candor feedback. And that's it, friends. 10 minutes, no fluff, just clear communication and quick fixes. If something needs more attention that's going to take more than 15 minutes, you can reconnect with that person one-to-one afterwards, like for example, with the sales call review, and give them their feedback. But it's your job as the leader. If somebody raises their hand, you're there to help them. This is how you keep execution friction-free, because truth told every single day prevents things for turning into problems later. The third gear, continuous visibility. This is so important. So who is this? Everyone connected to revenue retention or readiness. So when ongoing. Usually these types of meetings are bi-monthly or weekly, and it's bringing everybody together that's going to drive revenue retention and readiness. So usually cross collaboration of departments. The purpose of this is to keep decisions visible and progress transparent. If you have been in business long enough, you absolutely know that you assign something to do at a meeting or you have a priority and then it's not a real priority or it doesn't get assigned properly and nobody does anything the following week or the following 2 weeks. And this really, really prevents that. And it's absolutely mission critical. And this is the gear that most companies skip because it takes a lot of discipline and also knowledge to know how to move things along. So there's one of my clients right now is Accelerate. And I wanted to work with Accelerate because they focus on execution and a certain style of meetings. And I love this adaptation that they've done. And I have seen it just in my own team meetings with them, how easily it can be tied into any type of meeting and executed. And so what they call it is a pool: progress, opportunities, obstacles, and learning. So you'll have a meeting agenda for this recurring meeting, and let's give it some practicality here, okay? So you have marketing, customer success, sales, and rev ops all together, okay? And you have, let's say you meet twice a month for argument's sake on this. In the pool update, at the top, you have your agenda. So clearly the agenda is going to be very similar for these types of meetings. Every single time you have one, marketing is probably going to have a report, rev ops, sales, etc., right? But whatever you said you were going to do or implement, it's really important that there's the cross collaboration, right? So how do you keep track of what everybody's doing? Well, with a pool update: progress, opportunities, obstacles, and learning. So you have the agenda, and then before every single meeting, each participant goes in and writes down progress, opportunities that they see, obstacles, and learnings. And what's beautiful about this is if you keep track of it over time, you can see how execution is actually now happening because you're doing a pool update each week and holding everyone accountable. And it's key for a lot of things because sometimes the workload is unbalanced. Maybe marketing's having to do a lot more. How can we reshift this? Perhaps one person's falling behind. Who needs to help them? It is just a really, really beautiful way to do this. Now, typically, I would say we do this in a Google Doc, right? And it documents it each week. But what I love about Accelerate, and I will make sure that the link is in the show notes, and you can also reach out to me directly if you're interested in bringing the platform into your company, your consulting business. And the reason why I like it is that it tracks it all inside a platform. So it's super easy to go back and see what you wrote the previous meeting and did you accomplish it and what needs to happen moving forward. It's clean. It has AI insights. After a while, it starts to learn a lot about your company. And that was why I was so motivated to go and help them grow because I am so passionate about execution and I see meetings done so poorly for so long and that this company is now offering a way out of that. And it's wonderful. Okay. So you have two options. You can use Google Docs or a proprietary system, or you can consider Accelerate. So one of the best parts about this is that everyone fills in their notes prior to the meeting. So all your pool notes are updated before you even meet. And the reason why this is so mission critical is that means that by the time that we meet, everyone's already 80% prepared and basically the meeting is almost done. There has been so many times that, I've had to miss one of these meetings or somebody else has missed one of these meetings and it's literally not even a big deal because everything is tracked within the system. You can see the progress. You can see what you need to help with. And what's nice about this is that when everyone puts in their pool updates, you can respond to each pool update. And it's just beautiful. It's like you open up your meeting and you're like, oh, we're almost done. Let's rock and roll. And it just moves execution, which is so incredibly powerful. That's the beauty of visibility. It keeps momentum alive, even when the calendar doesn't cooperate. So if you miss a meeting, it's okay because everybody is still on the same page. And I think that is so incredibly powerful. And for everybody listening right now, I want you to just absorb all of this information right now because I will be providing my Substack free resource that will give you a checklist and know exactly how to do all of this. So the audio portion of this, or if you're listening on YouTube with video, I just want you to focus on my words, not overthink the strategy because the free resource guide will be there for you. And then lastly, so you have these 3 gears, which is your RAV engine. And then every quarter, just having a simple QBR is really, really important because the RAV engine can only work when the company's top 3 priorities are really clear and they go all the way to the top to the bottom. So every quarter, reset, recalibrate goals, resources, and focus on what you're going to do the next quarter. And I like to call that your tune-up. It's really powerful. We look at performance, discuss lessons learned, and realign priorities across every department. And this is truly what keeps the RAV engine tuned and ready for another quarter. All right, we're going to go ahead and dive into the Accelerate platform. I'm really excited to share this with you. And I hope that you find it really interesting. If you do, just shoot me an email or connect with me on any socials. And I'm happy to talk with you about how this can help your business. All right, so this is Gear 3, visibility. Gear 3, visibility is what we're going to focus on. This is the type of meeting. Accelerate can help you facilitate all of the meetings that I talked about previously. However, we're going to focus here on this one right now because it's the smoothest example and it will be really easy to understand the value behind it. This is our revenue team weekly meeting. Everyone who's involved in revenue. So that typically is what? Sales, marketing, customer success, RevOps. And this is our collaboration meeting. Down here, you'll see that the agenda is exactly the same every single week for a really, really darn good reason, okay? Keep it simple. But the thing that I love about this, and I will show you in just a second here, is how you go in and document all of your notes. So underneath here, you'll see consolidated notes from everybody on the team. Now, this is a mock demo, so I did sample notes for myself, but whoever else that you had invited to the meeting would be able to do the same thing. So when I'm down here, you can go to individual responses to see what everyone individually had said, but since I'm the only person doing it, they're all mine. Then the AI consolidates all the notes right here. And then at the bottom, based on the consolidated notes that the AI does based from everyone's inputs, then we have actions and accountability. And this is where you can assign it to the appropriate person to make sure that it actually gets done, which is really exciting. And you'll see the due date, who it's assigned to, etc. There is literally no way to get around doing what you've been asked to do inside a meeting with a deadline. It is so super visible. One thing that I really love is even after you consolidate all of the meeting notes with everyone's, your personal notes are still on the right-hand side here, so you can see everything you did. And one thing that I really like, which I put in here, is there's a comment section. So I used a sample. This is all mock data. Improve sales to CS handoff by implementing the new revenue ready checklist. Early feedback from CS team is positive. You open this up and anyone else who is invited to the meeting can put a reply in there, which is super, super powerful. So this is what I'm talking about, is all of what you're looking at right now is actually done before the meeting even starts. So I have all the meeting notes due the day before, so everyone has time to add in their comments and we can consolidate the notes and action items as soon as we start the meeting. Like, so powerful. I know for a fact, because I've been in so many meetings, half the meeting is usually spent doing everything that's already been done. And this way you show up intentionally to a meeting ready to move the needle instead of like giving it zero thought, showing up, doing nothing. And then the meeting is totally wasted. And we're back to those 31 hours, out of the month in wasted meetings, which we absolutely do not want. So the AI will consolidate everyone's notes. The AI will also create actions and accountability. Okay. And then what I also appreciate about the system is over here is the top priorities. And I just gave 2 sample top priorities. If the call starts to veer away from top priorities, why? Because this happens all of the time. And if it hasn't happened to you, I am very shocked, is that company priorities, department priorities are constantly changing, but sometimes the actions and the activities aren't changing along with them. So before you veer off your top priorities, if you notice something in the notes that's veering, it's like, hey, this is not a focus right now. What about X, Y, and Z? That's where we need to be aligned on. It's really, really powerful. And then up here, if they had actually been invited to the meeting and started doing all the work, you'd see the notes over by their name as well. So when you pop up here, okay, you can see everything that I had put in prior to the meeting. Now, when this meeting is completed, you just simply hit complete meeting and it'll stay in the system forever. So what that does is it helps train the internal AI on your tone, your company. It starts to refine better on the action items that need to be done each time. Super powerful, friends. And then you have a history of all of your meetings. Because if you're anything like me, if you go to restructure a certain meeting cadence or style, and then you're doing it for a month or 2, but there's no history of it, or you're keeping it in a clunky Google Doc, it's just not simply as powerful. So this is one of the best communication tools I think that is out there in the market for visibility. And once again, if you're interested in taking a look at this, shoot me an email, chat with me on social media, or you can clearly just go ahead and book a call on the Accelerate website, which we will include in the notes. And you never know, I might be the one taking that call as their fractional CRO. Thanks, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this and you feel like you can go and rock the RAV Revenue Engine. Go execute, friends.
You're in the coaching corner where we stop talking and start taking action.
So when you put all of these gears into action, you have a company that doesn't waste time. It compounds it. And that's truly the magic of the RAV system. When one gear turns, the others accelerate. Okay, so let's see what questions we have this week. And as a friendly reminder, in the show notes, if you have a question for me, put it in there. It might make it on the show. All right, question number 1. How do I know which gear of the RAV engine is slipping? What a fantastic question. Thank you so much for that. So if people are confused, rhythm is broken. If people are silent or reactive, accountability is missing. And if decisions vanish, visibility is dead. And that is how you can identify it. One thing that has happened time and time again, especially I do a lot of sales team reorgs, and in reorgs, responsibilities change, roles and responsibilities change. So if somebody is, and I have noticed this, if sales reps or sales team members become triggered and reactive or silent, it usually means that they're trying to be accountable to their goals, but something wasn't clearly communicated, or they're being asked to do too many things at once, and they need to know what the priority is. And so it's really mission critical. If your accountability meetings, if your daily huddles and everyone is silent and just smiling like everything's fine, absolutely nothing is fine. And the other thing is, if you have someone on your sales team just fly off the handle during a meeting, I want you to take ownership of that situation to determine what is going on. So really, really powerful. Great question. Thank you. Okay, question number 2. How do I install this system without overwhelming the team? So the first thing that you do, which is my favorite thing to do, is to start with a meeting reset month. Cancel everything and rebuild your calendar using the RAV principles. So as a reminder, that's a weekly 30-minute rhythm meeting, and that is between the CRO or the leader and the CEO or whoever you report up to. The next is your daily 10-15 minute accountability huddle with direct reports. And then you have either bi-monthly or weekly cross collaboration meetings. And that is when you're doing your pool updates before any meeting, so you can keep the momentum across all departments. Frame it as a performance experiment, not punishment. This is really, really important. Gaining buy-in, it doesn't matter if you're an internal leader or a consultant, but gaining buy-in on your changes and your ideas is probably, or actually it is arguably the hardest part. So frame this as, hey, let's see if we can cut down meetings, like give them a benefit. Cut down meetings, let's see if performance can go up. Who wants more autonomy? Who wants more white space on their calendar? Like that will get people moving really quickly. It's just really important that no one feels punished or like, oh, we were doing it wrong the whole time, etc. I've seen a lot of sales leaders have these daily huddles, but they're not very effective because they're not run the way that I'm explaining right now. And so it's absolutely mission critical that you use the formula that is in here. Okay, question number 3. How do I maintain the RAV engine over time? Well, it's actually quite simple, because what's going to happen is it'll probably take about a month or 2, and everyone's going to be like, how did we ever do meetings before? Like, this is so easy. It's so fun. We're so productive. We're seeing ourselves hit goals. Like, it's addicting. Like, everyone's going to love this. And it's also a minimalist approach to meetings. And I know very few people in this world that want more meetings. Very few people. Okay. So it's going to be pretty easy to gain buy-in on this. The only time that I see some like friction over it is when I go into an organization where the meeting culture is like literally from 9 to 1, you're in meetings every single day. And when you literally cancel all of those, it's very shocking, especially to the leadership, because they're like, is anybody going to do anything? Right? So it's usually senior leadership are the ones who get a little uncomfortable about all the meetings being canceled. But occasionally, you'll find some younger team members that are going to feel pretty lost without somebody telling them what to do, like, every day through these extensive meetings. So just make sure that during your diagnosis process and when you're speaking with team members that, that you understand, right? And, one thing that I don't talk about in the RAV engine, because this is case by case, is how many one-to-ones that you need per week. And I typically say if somebody has been there, if a direct report has been there less than 6 months, you should meet with them formally every single week. And then after 6 months, it's discretionary based on performance or their personality. I have found that most sales team members, once they get in a groove, really don't want that one-to-one time anymore. What they want is just accessibility to their leadership. So quick text messages with updates, positive feedback, Slack channel, communication channel, etc. So don't force meetings so that you feel good, right? Like, I can't tell you how many times I have seen, especially like when I'm doing my social listening online. Social listening is just where I want to see what other people are doing. And I'm curious about what they're complaining about or what they're happy about. And I remember this one woman made a post in a group that said she had 12 direct reports. 12. That's a lot. And she was in sales. So she was a sales leader, 12 direct reports. She was a newer sales leader, and the CEO asked her to have one-on-ones with every single team member every single week. And that was basically a requirement. I can guarantee you if she's still doing that, she is not moving the needle. Her reps are frustrated. She's either quit, she's been fired, or asked to go back to an individual contributor. Like, you cannot have 12 one-to-ones in a week. That is insane. Okay. So instead of just being the meetings person, be the strategic person. So how do I maintain the RAV engine over time? Make rhythm sacred. That weekly one-to-one with the CEO, same time, same day, always. Always, always, always. Okay. Mission critical. Model accountability. Leaders go first in being honest. So in those meetings where it's like, what's working, what's not, you can say yours too. It makes you relatable. It shows that like you're in the playground with them. It's super important. So show your vulnerability, be confident yet humble, and connect with the people on your team. Next is where you have to enforce the visibility across all departments. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. And it's just that simple. I think Accelerate makes it extremely simple. So I'm really excited to share that platform with you. But if you're not going to do that, then at least keep it in a Google Doc or another proprietary system that you have so you can see the progression. Mission critical. And then of course, you're just going to recalibrate every quarter in your QBR.
Let's bring it home. Rascal Wrap Up time. Key takeaways and a resource to keep you winning.
The RAV engine wasn't built for theory. It was built out of necessity because when you're managing multiple companies and teams, speed without structure is absolute chaos. So you have rhythm, keeps everyone in sync. Accountability keeps everyone honest. Visibility keeps everyone moving. And when those three gears lock, your company stops running on chaos and starts running on confidence. And I've put together a free resource to help you install the system in your own business. As I've mentioned, it's called the RAV Engine, and it's live right now on my Substack. You can print it, pin it, share it to your heart's desire, and start to rebuild your company's entire meeting rhythm. Because execution isn't about working harder, it's about working in rhythm. When your RAV engine is tuned, you'll feel it. Decisions happen faster, teams stay aligned, and growth finally becomes predictable. So what are you going to do? Go fire up that RAV engine.
Thanks for listening to Revenue Rascals, where we turn bold ideas into predictable revenue and prove that breaking the rules can still build empires. If you love what you heard, do me a favor. Tap the links in the show notes to support our sponsors. They're the ones keeping this show free so I can keep ungating the six-figure strategies that help you scale faster, lead smarter, and take more freedom home with you. And hey, if you think you'd make an incredible guest or know someone who's built something worth studying, email me at hello@michelleterpster.com. And until next time, stay sharp, stay bold, and stay just a little bit rascal.